It's brain damage. How do they ever think they're going to get away with this? As the damage mounts, they're only going to create more opposition. Don't they get it's a losing battle?
They don't. I think they're beginning to now because they are losing so badly. They've spent billions of dollars, billions of pounds on expensive public relations campaigns, and they are losing. They are losing the hearts and minds of the public. Why? Because it is true. Not because I say so, not because Jenny McCarthy says so, but because they see it in their own streets.
Their own top scientists said they were ordered to cover it up.
That's exactly right. So now the whole house of cards is going to fall. And the other thing that came out recently on Friday, I was mentioning it, that Steve Kralin, a scientist working in the MMR vaccine lab of Merck, reported fraud in that laboratory, overestimating the safety, the effectiveness of the mumps vaccine. We were seeing mumps outbreaks all around the world in children who'd had 2-3 doses of mumps.
They were being connected to the shot, right?
That's right. And they would know what they were saying is the vaccine is not working because these children are getting mumps when they've had 2 or 3 doses.
Stay there. Tell us about it in the next segment. Incredible. Tell your friends and family, tune in.
Open your eyes. It's time to give your eyes a powerful nutritional boost. Sight is the primary input to the brain, arguably making eyesight the most important sense we have. And just like the other important organs in our bodies, our eyes function at peak levels when they are fed the proper amounts of essential nutrition. Open your eyes. Combining key ingredients like vitamin A, zinc, lutein, proprietary saffron bulb extracts, and more, OcuPower by InfoWars Life is a new formulation specifically designed to nutritionally assist the natural function of healthy eyes. Optimize the natural power of your eyes with the latest addition to the super high-quality InfoWars Life formulations, OcuPower. Go to InfoWarsLife.com or InfoWarsStore.com to order OcuPower or call 1-888-253-3139. OcuPower. Open your eyes.
I began to get into iodine a few years ago because it was helping me and my family so much get healthy and detoxify. Most people know that iodine deficiency has been a crisis around the world. Iodine is key to so many of the body's functions, especially the thyroid. I discovered a product being developed by Dr. Group. You now know it as Survival Shield, true nascent iodine that your body can really absorb. Then, about a year ago, he said, listen, if you think this is powerful, I'm going to come out with rare earth, deep earth crystals. And the results that I personally have had have been life-changing. Nobody else has got iodine based on these pure crystals, ladies and gentlemen. This is innovating, and the best part is it helps fund Infowars.com, the radio show, the TV show, the whole media operation promoting true libertarian ideas. For a limited time, experience the ancient power of Survival Shield X2. Take advantage of this unprecedented 30% off super detox special at InfoWarsLife.com.
General, what do you think about the FBI saying that there's a terror alert on Monday about a potential Fort Hood situation?
The police are shoving people, shoving Alex, shoving the crowd.
Here we go, folks. I'm being assaulted.
Whether it's the radio show, the news websites, documentary films, or the nightly news, InfoWars is the tip of the spear.
Is this another false flag stage attack to take our civil liberties and put more homeland security while sticking their hands down on the pants on the streets?
It's up to us to set brush fires in the minds of men and women everywhere. And that's what PrisonPlanet.tv is designed to do.
You watch, the Assad regime is going to be blamed or accused of using chemical weapons against the so-called rebels.
What we see now is a war against reality. It's a war against the truth.
It's more vital than ever that supporters of freedom become members of PrisonPlanet.tv and share their membership with up to 11 friends and family. Visit InfoWarsNews.com today. Become a member, share your membership, and help take the InfoWar to the next level. After consulting top doctors, nutritionists, pharmacists, and others, we have developed what I believe is the ultimate non-GMO organic Super Male Vitality formula. Super Male Vitality by InfoWars Life is so powerful that I only take half the recommended dose.
I jump out of bed ready to fight these criminals every day. I look forward to waking up and taking my Super Male Vitality.
Visit InfoWarsLife.com today to secure your Super Male Vitality and other powerful products from InfoWars Life.
The government's Department of Homeland Security is buying up loads of ammo. At the same time, they're restricting civilians' rights to own and purchase firearms. Can you put 2 and 2 together? Infidel Body Armor can stop every round, including hollow points and .308 sniper rounds, is reasonably priced and fully legal. But for how long? Go to InfidelBodyArmor.com, spelled INFIDEL bodyarmor.com. Infidel Body Armor. Just won't quit.
Coast to coast, direct from Austin. You're listening to the Alex Jones Broadcasting Network.
We've got it. This transmission is coming to you.
Waging war on corruption.
All right, you are go.
It's Alex Jones, coming to you live from the front lines of the InfoWar.
Now, investigative journalist Jon Rappoport, who's been all over this for decades, is going to be joining us coming up in the next two segments. But I've got all this world news to cover. It's all incredibly important and interesting, but we know that the vaccines are causing autoimmune disorders, causing problems in the guts of children. We know the Salk vaccine was declassified, had SV40 cancer virus in it. And these companies have liability protection. Vaccines are extremely dangerous. They're extremely complex. It's not like a drug. We're going to get some heart medicine or Rogaine for your hair falling out. This is DNA, RNA. This is very complex manipulations. And they grow this stuff in these big tanks and don't clean them out properly. There's all sorts of issues. Now, you know I've documented a lot of this is on purpose, but Dr. Andrew Wakefield's our guest. Sir, we've got the investigative journalist joining us to bring up some questions and comments with you, but continuing with the new info, more whistleblowers coming out, not just this top scientist, but more. Where do you expect the establishment to go from here as their whole house of cards collapses?
Well, it's very interesting. Steve Kralin came forward from Merck 9 years ago. I think he approached me at a meeting in Chicago back then with some extraordinary information about manipulation of data in Merck's vaccine lab to falsely elevate the protective efficacy of their vaccine.
And these are people that lose their jobs, risk their jobs, their lives, because they're not psychotic killers. They understand, hey, we're hurting people, we better talk about it. These are heroes for doing the right thing.
That's right. So their mumps vaccine was not working. We were seeing outbreaks of mumps in highly vaccinated populations around the world. And so they were told by the FDA, either you prove what it says on your product insert, 96% protection, or you lose your license. Now, you lose a license for mumps, you lose the license for MMR, and Merck have got a monopoly in this country, and that's a lot of money. So they set about trying to fix the test, not the vaccine. They had two options. They could act in the children's interests, or they could act in Merck interests. And what they did, apparently, is to act in Merck's interests and fix the test. So what they did to the test is to add rabbit's blood to it.
Unbelievable.
Rabbit's blood, absolutely nothing to do with the ability of the mumps vaccine to protect children, but add rabbit's blood.
Is that because the rabbits have an immunity?
No, it's because it falsely elevates the protection of the apparent protection of the vaccine, doing it at all. It's an artifact. It's a lab effect. It's nothing to do with immunity at all. So when they did that, it worked. But what they did...
So they engaged in fraud.
Engaged in fraud. They asked him to fix his data. They asked him to cross out what he'd written before, write some new numbers, which convinced the FDA that the vaccine was right. He took them to a whistleblower court. He filed a case, took it to court, and the good news is that Merck, having tried to have it thrown out of court, have just on Friday lost that case, and it will proceed to trial. And so for everybody, that is very, very good news, because what it will eventually do is bring out the truth about the efficacy and safety of that vaccine, and I believe lead to the demise of the MMR vaccine as it currently is. That is not that it will get rid of single vaccine. Maybe we should go back to single vaccines because they're protective, but mumps vaccine was never needed. And this is the important point. This comes not from me, but from Donald Henderson, who was head of the smallpox eradication program at the CDC. He said it wasn't needed. They did a study when it first was introduced. They said, we don't need this vaccine. And it slowly appeared on down. Here's the fascinating, I'll tell you a story about this. They did a study. The vaccine wasn't needed. They said to Morris Hillerman of Merck, we don't need this. So he went state by state by state, persuading health officials to introduce it. In the end, so many states were using it that the CDC said, in Donald Henderson's words, oh, to hell with it. We might as well put it on the schedule. That's the scientific basis for the use of mandatory mumps vaccination in this country. From the man himself, Dr. Donald Henderson, oh, to hell with it.
But I even see mainstream articles in the Sacramento Bee where they admit that they have outbreaks in California caused by the vaccines. I mean, more and more, they can't cover this stuff up. And I just wonder what's going on in this industry, because I know you can get immunity from vaccines. I know there's a real science there. Why is it so screwed up? Why is it so bad? Why is it causing so many problems? Is it just the arrogance of the industry? Just that there's nothing there, no checks and balances?
There are very few checks and balances, and there is a great deal of profit to be made, as you point out, without any liability at all. There is a very interesting phenomenon, rather like the antibiotic-resistant bacteria. We're seeing this now emerge in vaccine technology, that we're getting bacteria, pertussis, for example, that is resistant to the current vaccine in use. Now, what that means is that we see these escape mutants, these mutants that are then resistant to the current vaccine, so they will introduce a new vaccine that deals, at least temporarily, with that escape mutant.
That causes another super mutant.
Well, this is the problem is that it's you're on a treadmill for the rest of time, because not only will children have to have the existing pertussis vaccine, but they will also have to have the new one. And
so it's Pandora's box.
Yes, I think people didn't think through this, and they didn't think through it with antibiotics, and they didn't think through it with vaccines. But we're starting to see the emergence of these super strains now, and we need to be very, very careful. We need to think very carefully.
Unless you want to just medicalize life itself without Merck and without all these other companies, Pfizer, you just can't live. You got to have maybe daily shots. I mean, what about the connections I've seen in studies to all the incredible problems we're seeing with allergies connected to vaccines?
Well, there's no doubt that there has been an explosion of immune-mediated diseases in children in particular. So there is chronic morbidity in this country from immune diseases such as asthma, eczema, hay fever, Crohn's disease, an inflammatory bowel disease.
Directly linked to vaccines.
Insulin-dependent diabetes, this kind of thing, unprecedented levels. Now, these are immune-mediated diseases. So if you're looking for the cause of these issues, you need to look at the things that educate the immune system very, very early on. Now, historically, that was infection. Now that's been superseded by vaccination. So it makes a great deal of sense. There is biological plausibility to looking at vaccines as a possible cause, and there's an abundance of literature which supports that.
Well, we talk privately. I worked for a small animal vet and a large animal vet in high school into college. I worked overall 4 years total. They knew then, tell people, don't give your kids vaccines. We don't give them to the dogs or they get sick. It's the vets, you were saying earlier, that are really aware of this.
Yeah, the vets have been onto it for a long time. No multiple vaccines, spread them out, get thimerosal out of vaccines, and don't vaccinate if it's unnecessary. This isn't just some...
Because they could see it in something with a shorter life cycle. They could see it in a dog or a cat.
Yeah, and because there's less of a pressure on them from public health officials and the pharmaceutical industry reps who visit and bribe, that there's less pressure on them to keep giving these vaccines. It's become so much of an industry now in pediatrics and mainstream medicine that it's almost it's insidious and it is pervasive, and it's something we've got to stand back from and take very, very seriously.
Austin Media Channel. I keep saying Austin because we're in Austin. Autism Media Channel on YouTube. AutismMediaChannel.com is the website, but the best place is YouTube. Autism Media Channel on YouTube. Dr. Andrew Wakefield's our guest, investigative journalist, is joining us. John Rappaport straight ahead. But we'll also talk about the persecution of whistleblowers that try to tell the truth. But what happens when more and more whistleblowers come out? The system collapses. I began to get into iodine a few years ago because it was helping me and my family so much get healthy and detoxify. Most people know that iodine deficiency has been a crisis around the world. Iodine is key to so many of the body's functions, especially the thyroid. I discovered a product being developed by Dr. Group. You now know it as Survival Shield, true nascent iodine that your body can really absorb. Then, about a year ago, he said, listen, if you think this is powerful, I'm going to come out with rare earth, deep earth crystals. And the results that I personally have had have been life-changing. Nobody else has got iodine based on these pure crystals, ladies and gentlemen. This is innovating, and the best part is it helps fund Infowars.com, the radio show, the TV show, the whole media operation promoting true libertarian ideas. For a limited time, experience the